Imagine a future where cities can afford to tow in icebergs for clean water and everyone else is left to go without. If you're drawn to books that sit at the crossroads of climate anxiety, class inequality, and an increasingly high-tech world that clearly favors the wealthy, this book is definitely worth your attention. It's Stillicide by Cynan Jones, and this is the kind of book that immerses you in an uncomfortable world that is disturbingly real. It's a near future shaped by unpredictable violence and authoritarian control over the most essential resource, which is water, and then all the lives that are completely turned inside out as a result. Stillicide really grabbed my attention immediately with an opening chapter that is as tense as any of the best hard-boiled novels I've ever read. There's this constant tension and sense that violence is going to erupt at any moment. But what makes it different is the restraint. The prose is tight and it's controlled. At the same time, it's also kind of poetic. And there's a lot of interior character monologue that pulls you closer and pulls you along the narrative without drowning you in explanation or within any excess detail. It's a book that really demands attention, but doesn't overwhelm you. And I found myself reading it slowly and reading it very carefully, trying to understand the rules of this world as they revealed themselves. Would a protest turn violent? Would security forces respond with indiscriminate force against people who simply needed and wanted access to clean water? Would the iceberg scheme even work, or was this just another techno-Ponzi solution? At the same time, I was drawn to the people inside the world. How would they survive? How had they survived this long? What kind of compromises had they already made? And is further survival even possible? So what felt really fragile while reading Stillicide wasn't the characters' safety, but their ability to continue existing at all in a world that just feels fundamentally doomed. There's a constant tension also that runs through the book. There's this sense that there's a rapid race towards annihilation, and it's driven by a climate crisis of our own making and an ability to break cycles of exploitation, both of the earth and of each other. And so the book quietly undermines any kind of comforting assumption that we have that, we can outthink nature's response to us. No matter how advanced or high-tech we become, our dependence on the natural world is simply unavoidable and brutally unforgiving. So what I couldn't stop thinking as I read this book was this unsettling idea that humanity is doomed to outthink itself out of existence. So this book really stayed with me after I put it down. It's really haunting, it's very prescient, and in a way that's hard to shake. I'm a person who has long been skeptical of the idea that technology always leads to better outcomes for us, and Stillicide really sharpened that skepticism for me. It suggests that there may be a line that will be crossed, a sort of point of no return, where the damage done can't be undone. It can't just be cleaned up. We can't just create something new to undo what the last new thing did. And that line that may be crossed could be over something as simple as access to clean water. So after reading it, ordinary things become more fragile or become privileges, like access to clean water, a livable, clean environment. Things that I normally take for granted suddenly feel like privileges, drinking water, make water to make coffee. In the book, there's something called potato water that they use to make coffee. So, in the future, we just may not be able to afford water. Books like Stillicide matter because climate change isn't abstract anymore. It's immediate, it's unstable, it's real, it's happening. I live in East and Southeast Asia. I live in China and Shanghai, and I spend a lot of time in places like Thailand. The weather in this part of the world, it already feels like a roller coaster that is just not slowing down. It's accelerating. Just last week, we had flies and mosquitoes hatching in early December in South China. And now today, temperatures have dropped back below zero, back below freezing. This is a real thing. This is happening. So books like this ask for a different kind of attention, not distant or theoretical, but immediate. They ask you to notice what's shifting beneath your feet while it's shifting. And it's uncomfortable, but it's a discomfort that matters. It forces you to recognize the path we're heading down is one that we don't have a map for. Stillicide isn't a book that offers comfort, reassurance, or solutions. It's a book that asks you to be present, to notice what's happening and what it's going to cost to look away. So the question isn't whether this is an enjoyable read. It's this: do you want a book that helps you escape the future, or books that force you to look at it while there's still time? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. I always do. And in case you don't know, my name's Carl, and this has been Please Read Your Book.